Howdy folks, welcome back to my Mile Arc. Today we're going to fly a normal flight, finally, after a couple weeks. We're in Colombia. I'm going to say one more thing about frame rates, a quick blip about X-Plane 11.30, and then we'll hang up those topics and we will get back to normal flights. But just super quick, we are flying at 1440 today, and I think that's what we're going to settle in as. I did do this flight the other night in 4K, but the performance was horrendous. I was sitting around like 9 frames per second with everything mostly maxed out due to the immense detail at our destination, the clouds cranked all the way up with the terrain blending. What else was a factor? The cloud cover type, all those things coming together in 4K, my performance was horrible. So I tried it again in 1080, and my frames were in the 80s, but on this gigantic monitor I'm using that I inherited, by the way. I wouldn't spend this kind of money on a monitor like this. This monitor I inherited, 1080, looks like absolute garbage. Like, you can't even read the numbers in the cockpit. It's that bad. So that wasn't going to work, even though my performance was great. So then I remembered somebody on my forums, or my comment section, who I responded to, mentioned 1440. So I gave it a try. And lo and behold, as somebody said, 1440 is the best of both worlds. On this monitor, 1440 looks almost like 4K. Not quite, because this monitor is huge, but I compared side-by-side stills, and 1440 is just as good as 4K, unless you're super discerning and then you have the wrong priorities. So 1440 looks fantastic, but it has a performance of 1080, because look, right now we're at 80 frames per second. So performance of 1080, visual of 4K, it is the best of both worlds. So that is what we're going to do. 1440p from now on, just like 99% of the YouTube channels out there anyway. That's what we're going to do. So I do have the frame rate counter up for this flight. It's not going to be up for many more flights. And VSync is turned off, just so we can see the performance just one more time. Because of the size of this monitor, though, I do need to run VSync. You're not able to see the problems because this is a recorded video through the video card. Now, if I use a capture card, you'd see it. But in person, as I spin around this airport, it's horrible with VSync off. But I just want to have the performance numbers up there this last time. So VSync will be on in the future, so we will be locked at 30 frames per second. But that's just, for me and my end. So that's a resolution thing I wanted to talk about. That's a frame rate thing I wanted to talk about. I'm curious what our frames are going to be like in town when we get to our destination. They're still going to be in the 60s or 50s probably. One more thing I did want to show you about that. We're at 80 right now. Ooh, 81 for a second there. But if we hop inside, it goes down to 55, because that's what I call this plane the frame rate killer. And that's what happens inside this plane. But anyway, so that is all I'm going to say about frame rates. That frame rate counter will be turned off in the next flight or two. We'll be down to 30 frames per second, locked by VSync in the next flight or two. Otherwise, the other thing I wanted to say, X-Plane 11.30 and how it affects these turboprops. Austin Meyer talked about turboprops a little bit in his last or second to last web thing. What was a webinar, maybe, I guess you call it. And lo and behold, while not perfect, you can now land this plane without any patches. This hasn't been touched by Carenado or anything. Without any patches, I can now land this plane the way you're supposed to land it. It's a little rough. It sucks you down a tiny bit, but it's reasonable and realistic. So I can approach at 110 knots, and I can land at 104 with throttles at idle, below max landing weight, and we can land normally. You can't grease it unless you goose the throttle a little bit, because it sucks you down a tiny bit. But compared to how it was in previous versions, I will take what I can get. I still hope Carenado does something with it like they said they would, even though that was back in April when they said they'd issue a patch once 11.30 was final. I'm going to kind of remind them of that on the forums. But it'd be nice if we could grease it the way you're supposed to. But we'll take what we can get. So we're going to land today the way you're supposed to land. It won't be a greaser. It will probably hit the ground at 400 feet per minute or so, which isn't great. But compared to what we were experiencing the past year, I will take what we can get. So I just want to talk about that super fast. 11.30. Very excited. Otherwise, I think that's it. So let's not talk about frame rates. Let's not talk about resolution. Let's not talk about 11.30. Let's have a normal flight. You can watch the frame rate counter if you want to. I'm going to leave it up there for the next flight or two. We're going to be in 1440 from here on out. And let's get going. So we are in Colombia, like I said. We're taking off from SKUI, Sierra Kilo Uniform Indigo, and we're going to fly to Sierra Kilo Mike Delta with a visual approach through the mountains. Very beautiful on the other side. I know because I accidentally did a practice flight the other night. We are going to put waypoints in the GPS to help guide us, but it is a visual. It's a visual approach. And if you just follow the valley and you look for this little hill just before the runway, piece of cake. So we really don't even need the waypoint at this point because I've seen the area. I know the area, but we're going to put them in there anyway. So that is our plan. Let's see here. What are we going to do? Let's see. Yeah, see without VSync. Oh, this is terrible. Yuck. Oh, well, whatever. If you are... external power is already on, so people can board. Actually, let's get this turned on too, so they can get back there and they can see what they're doing. All right, let's hop up front. Let's get the fuel going here. Oh, it's so nice. Even 50 frames per second is just stellar. It's a no. We can need a little bit more fuel than that. I did that for my practice landings to see how 11.30 worked. Let's go a little bit. Let's go to 11.40 or 145. And real weather is turned on, by the way. Although our departure airport, there's no weather. I don't know about the destination. However, we only have one runway choice, so we'll see how it goes. Fuel, alrighty. Let's see. Let's go down here. I redid my presets to now they have a bigger monitor and I can see. Battery under the switch. External lighting. Let's do tail flood. Everything else should be down. Recog? Yeah, let's do recog because we're going to start up pretty soon. Remove the static elements. Let's hop out here. And let's spin around though so we can actually see this stuff close. Spin, spin, spin. There we go. I have my preset set here, but it puts me different places every time. Move that. Close that. Actually, let's close this from inside. I have a preset for that. And there's a... Well, where'd it go? Where are you? There's a hand somewhere. Oh, there it is. You got like 2 pixels. There we go. Same thing here. If you spin around, you have like a pixel or 2 to grab. There it is. Wow, you don't want to get stuck on that. That was like a Star Trek door. Alrighty, closed door, closed door, closed door, clearly closed wing windows. I always forget until they close on their own halfway down the runway. Alright, emergency lights can go to normal. There we go. And then my favorite thing running 1440 is we can see our autopilot panel without it being off the screen. How nice is that? Alright, let's make sure the parking brake is set because sometimes it isn't and it rolls away on us. Do that a couple times. There we go. Fuel switches. We're going to go on, auto, and view the main tank, view auxiliary. This is just viewing the tank. It's not selecting it. And it does use the auxiliary tank first. People have asked me about that. Props to, oh, this moved my preset. I had this set so we could actually see the, didn't I? Let me see something here. Nope, there it is. That's my new preset. I should redo all this stuff. Prop to feather it is. Engine auto igniter. Where are you? There we go. And right engine, when it gets to 15%, we'll introduce fuel. We should be able to do low idle now. I think that was working. Well, it was working in 11.26. We'll see if it works 11.30. You're supposed to condition low idle when that gets to 18. Let's see if it actually works at low idle or is it going to die on us. Let's bring it back low idle. And it's going to work. Good. Someone left a comment on a really old video, by the way, about starting the engines before doing AC bus and stuff. And I've always done it that way. But I realized in that video I had cut off the starting of the engines. So I just want to point that out in case that person is watching. Yes, we are doing this the right way for the most part. I mean, like I say in every video, we're limited to what the simulator gives us. And this isn't necessarily a study level aircraft like a FlyJ sim or something, but it's close. It's what you make of it. So we're going to hold the left starter now. Now it gets to 18, then we'll let go. And the conditioner is already forward because I only have one axis on my yoke for both. And this directional gyro should not apply in this aircraft, but that was introduced to the simulator after this aircraft was built. So you just have to deal with it. Not a big deal. I just mapped a key on my keyboard to sync the vacuum gyro thingamabobber. So that goes away. Alrighty, so that is stabilized as well. So let's do generator and close that. Repeat, auto igniters off. I've actually heard people argue about that on the real airplane, which I think is interesting. You think it'd be black and white, but I guess it isn't. Avionics switch. AC bus. My engine's already started, so we're not going to blow anything up. Turn off external power. Rudder boosts between the seats. Climate, then. We'll do air bleed now, although that's for cab pressure. We'll turn on the heaters and blowers, and we'll do auto. We'll do auto, which, why won't that stay? And we'll do auto. And you hear the blowers turn on if you're wearing headphones. It will get to 120 degrees, but whatever. Test overspeed. Test stall. And get our flight plan going. Oh, after we put the yoke back. So flight plan. We're at SKMD. And we're going to go to... No, we're at SKUI. I guess that's in there because that was my previous from practice. Gonna clear, thank you. Can we delete flight plan? You betcha. There's SKUI. Alright, we're gonna put in some waypoints manually because it's a visual approach and I kind of mapped where we want to go. So first of all, we want to go to the, can't see that far on my other monitor, Rio Negro VOR. So we're going to put that in if my mouse wheel will cooperate. I think it should be that. Romeo November Golf. There we go. Boom. Enter. Yes. And I'm gonna, so not all these waypoints are in here, by the way, because I need to update my nav data. So we're gonna put in what we have. So there's Vasig. And then we're going to put in, well, we can't put in the next waypoint, doesn't exist, so we can put in ice tax, though. Ice tax? I don't know how you'd say that. Just like so. Are you in there? You're in there, aren't you? There we go. And then in between there should be a waypoint, but it's visual anyway. And then our destination. There we go. Medellin, Olaya Herrera. I can't roll my R. Why am I trying to roll my R's? I know I can't. I'll be quiet now. Ooh, airport. Airport. There we go. Yep, but we're going to go direct to Ringo. There we go. Just like that. We will do our top of descent later. Let's just do 100 for now. Otherwise, that's it. CDI there. No instruments because it's in here. I guess we could like set the CDI card thing for fun, but we're not going to. Let's see, what else do we need to do next? Avidyne. I just like to do stuff on this that will show weather if we had any. Radios, instruments, no altimeter, barometer. We do have real weather turned on, so we do have to check the map. Essentially, we're just following this blue line to this VOR. Oh, you know, wait, my mouse doesn't work with my shadow play. In the dead center of the map is us. If you follow that blue line to the new dead center, that's where we're going, is that VOR. And then up and around visually. And this is an actual visual approach plate that we're using, by the way. It's not something I came up with on my own. This is the real deal. So SKUI. Wind calm. 2982. So we'll probably take off from runway if it's calm. Closest runway is going to be 13. We'll just use runway 13. So what was that? 2982? 2982. 2982. There we go. Alrighty, what is next? Let's see here. Test warning and caution lights. I have a preset for that somewhere. I need to just hit this button. There we go. Good. Alright, what is next? Cabin pressure. Yes. So we're going to fly at 17,000 feet today. So we're going to set this for 18,000. Right there. This thing doesn't work the way it's supposed to in real life, so we just keep an eye on this and keep those arrows in the green. If they get into the red, we're dead. In the red and you're dead. Okay. Auto feather to arm. And prop sync on. We skipped gen ties. Was that on my list? Yes, there it is right there. And then auto ice. And stall warning. And pitot heat. And that should be it. TCAS, but we don't fly with traffic. Alright, so I know that's not the procedure you would use on the real aircraft. People keep telling me that. I know that. What I did is I took Carenado's instructions and the POH for the real deal, which I'm sorry I didn't bookmark the link, and I came up with my own thing based on what the simulator offers us. And it'll get you in the air, and you get to click stuff. They're like, we're not messing with this, you know, this stuff here. And I mean, you can read about it and learn about it if you want to. Alright, taxi lights on. This does have taxi lights. I've been flying the Beaver for fun, which doesn't have taxi lights. Props to taxi. What's my new preset for that? This one, props to taxi. The sound should change a little. There we go. And what do we got? That's it. Low idle. Got it. Let's hop to our taxi view. Turn down my headphones. I'm going to start yelling. So essentially, we're just turning around and going right there. Looks like we get the back taxi. Okay, 75 frames per second. Nice. Here we go. Let's get comfortable in my chair. Feet on my rudder pedals, and the rudder pedals work. Parking brake off. Give this thing some juice, and away we go. Once this thing gets rolling, though, it's going to roll fast. Yep. So weird having rudder pedals. It's so amazing, but so weird. Still getting used to it. I still reach for my yoke to like turn with my paddles. So here we go. Cleared to enter the runway to back taxi to runway 13. And that frame rate count is really distracting, but whatever. Alright, so I don't think... see, I'm not using my rudder pedals. Apologize. Still getting used to it. Still have under a dozen flights with these pedals, so... Alrighty, I'm gonna back taxi super fast and I'll catch you once we turn around. Actually, because we're already on the runway, I already turned taxi lights off, landing lights on, nav on, anti-beacon on. We're going to turn off these lights like so, and that will leave us in the back with this all ready to go. Eyes are adjusted in case we crash. People can see what they're doing. And I keep moving my mouse out of the way, but I keep forgetting you can't see it anyways, so that is one less thing for me to stress out about. So I'm kind of glad about that, even though I'd like to point things out, but I'll just have to edit stuff in, I guess. Alright, so let's hop to our taxi view, which I need to change. I don't know why it keeps resetting itself. It's driving me crazy. And let's make our nice U-turn with the rudder pedals. Let's see how this goes here. Hopefully it goes okay. Whoops. Brought my props back for some reason on accident. Put those props back forward to taxi position. There we go. That actually worked too well because now we're not lined up. Alright, let's hop inside here. And what do we need to do? Enter runway. Flaps down. See, I'm glad I looked at that. Flaps down. Reading lights. I already did all those lights, taxi lights, anti-glitch. I already did all that stuff. Are you really going to stop here? Come on. Trim for takeoff. Bring that back a little bit to like there. Okay, stop. See, that happens when you don't have peripheral vision. Parking brake set. Jeez Louise. Trim for takeoff. Did that. Set up autopilot. We are going to fly at 18,000, I think I said. How come that's going back and forth on the same number? That was weird. So let's go all the way up to 18,000, although we don't really think we need to go that high, but we're going to set it there anyway. There we go, 18,000. Autopilot, let's get the heading bug in case we screw up. Come on, heading bug. Olaya is just as simple of use nav and climb. Yeah, 200 feet per minute. Boom. Everything's set. Autopilot's done. What else do we need to do? CDI. Yeah, that's on there. Alright, conditioners. Actually, start the clock. Is it running? There you go. Conditioners to high idle. Props forward. Feet on the pedals. And parking brake is off. Spool this thing up. Try not to get distracted by the frame rate counter. And away we go. Whoops, still getting used to these pedals. Every plane is so different too. Like this plane takes a lot of rudder movement. Or like the default Cessna and the Beaver, you just think about it and it goes crazy. Gear coming in already. Flaps coming in. So we're just gonna let autopilot take over for a second. Oh no, is it really gonna spin us all the way around? No, it isn't. Good. Alright, so after takeoff, ooh, look at that. Oh boy, I hope we can see our landing at our destination. I hope we can see where we're going. Anyway, we will do a lot of sightseeing, but we need to manage some engines. So let's bring back throttles to keep torque in the green. And bring back props to keep the props in the green. You have 5 minutes to do this, by the way, otherwise you start on fire. If you run over red for 5 minutes, you'll start on fire. There we go. And we got a lot of speed going off. That'll bleed down to like 140 or something. Well, there we go. We're already in the clouds, so let's hurry up and look outside. We'll talk about cruise here. Isn't that awesome? Let's do a screenshot. I can't do too many screenshots because every time I do a screenshot, it actually throws off the game audio from the video, and then I have to start moving things around. It's very strange in editing, very weird, but that's just how shadow play is. I do prefer my Bandicam to shadow play in terms of editing after I've taken a video, but there's a gigantic performance hit with Bandicam in anything above 1080, so shadow play it is. My shadow play audio is terrible for voice too, by the way, so I actually use another program for voice, and you have to sync it all together. I think I've been practicing for a couple years, huh? Anyway, my practice flight, you could see the mountains, and it was beautiful. This flight, can't really see anything at all, but at least we get to see real world weather, which is nice. So let's see here. Let's hop back inside. What do we need to do for cruise? Throttles and props are in the green, going all the way down both stacks. That's fine. Let's set our vertical navigation. So we want, what was it, 11,000 feet or 9,500? We're gonna do this 11,000 feet. We're gonna calculate to the VOR, and then we're gonna take over from there manually anyway. So we want 11,000 feet at Ringo with a descent of 800 feet per minute, because that's what's default. And that's it. What's funny, because we're below 11,000 feet, right? Because we're actually going up to land. This hasn't even kicked in, so we'll check back in a minute. So 11,000 feet at Ringo, and then from there we descend to 9,500, then 87, and then it's completely visual from there. So there we go. I guess we can keep that up, or even keep this up. Let's see, what do we got? Yeah, see, just come up, make a little U-turn. Oh yeah, you can't see my mouse. Oh well, U-turn at Ringo till we land. So there you go. That takes care of that. Everything else is fine. At 18,000 we should go standard barometer, to be honest. At 10,000 we could turn the landing lights off. We're not going to, because we're flying in the mountains with heavy cloud cover. So we are all set until we check destination weather. Simple as that. Now we got some stuff to look at. So let's have a look outside together for a moment, and then we will I'll turn you loose for some sightseeing. I'm taking all these screenshots. I hope it doesn't screw up my game audio too much. Otherwise, yeah, that looks awesome. I was going to talk about the VSync jittering, but never mind, you can't see that anyway. But look at that, we're still in the 60s. I'm curious to see what we'll hit when we hit this city, because this city is insanely dense. And the cloud, remember, all my settings in SkyMaxx Pro are cranked. So the train blending is cranked, which is a huge performance hit. So these low clouds in the mountains with a super urban area, I'm really curious what's going to happen. But anyway, there we go. Nothing to be said until we reach top of descent and then get our destination weather information. This is a beautiful sight. I'm going to turn you loose to some sightseeing and figure out why my work just emailed me on a super late Thursday night. And I'll catch you at top of descent. Alright, so it's time to descend to target. Almost missed it, but our VSR is below our profile, so we are fine there. But before we do that, let's zoom in a little bit. See what we're doing. Alrighty, so descend to target. Why am I losing track of what I'm trying to do? So we're going to keep autopilot though. We'll bring it down to 95 because that's where we'll take over manually if we haven't already. So there we go. 95 it is. Autopilot. One click descend. 800 feet per minute. Now we just have to watch our speed, which we will keep our speed up. We'll go down about 180 or 160 once we get into the pattern ourselves here. But you want to be careful that VSR, if it gets to be high, much higher than 800, then we have to increase our rate of descent. If it gets much lower, then we want to slow down our rate of descent. But that's all there is to it. Just one button. So landing lights already on. Let's see if we can get a destination weather information. Let's see here. Wow, we're flying. We went from 200 feet mean sea level at takeoff to arriving at, what is it, 5,000 feet? Just about 5,000 feet. 4,921. So here we are. Let's see, what is our destination information? Wind calm. Good. 3032. Alrighty. Well, we're below 18,000 feet, so let's go up to 30. Oh, wait a second. Can't we just mouse wheel this? Okay, there we go. Weird. 3032. Just like that. There we go. Alright. Speed is okay. In fact, we can keep our speed up a little bit. Rate of descent is VSR is 813, so we're not going to make any adjustments there. If we come down here, you can see again what this looks like, so we're going to keep this zoomed in a little bit. Otherwise, 7 minutes to our waypoint, and then we'll take over manually within that. No warnings or cautions or anything. Needle is right teetering that red, so we can actually spin this around if we want to, and it should go down. And yep, starting to come down. See, coming down. So we are out of the red. We are not dead. That's it. So I'm going to give you a little bit more sightseeing, and I'll see you just after that waypoint, I guess. So keeping an eye on things, your VSR is almost coming up on 1,000 feet, so we're going to increase this to 1,000, and then, whoop, come here, autopilot, go away. And then we are going to have to bring back throttles a little bit so we don't overspeed, which means our VSR is going to get screwed up again, but we'll just leave it at that. So lights have been on for a while, or they've always been on, too early for flaps, too early for gear. That's all we're worried about. We're just going to touch down soon. So what'll happen is we'll come around this corner, and we're going to go right over an airport, which is not our airport. And we're visually going to circle the land, although we have waypoints to help guide us. So because I did an accidental practice flight, I know the path into the airport. In fact, I believe... No, you can't see it. It's back. It's in the clouds. I just hope that the clouds clear out. Oh yeah, they should. Good. So there's an airport up here. That's not our airport. That's where we're going to turn. But then we're going to circle around through this valley, and then the airport is back there. Maybe we can see it from here. Nope. Nope. Can't see it. But it's there, I promise. Alright, here we go. There is our turn. Can I go up a little bit and over? So again, there's an airport right there, but it's not our airport. We're going to fly right over it. I'm going to take over manually pretty soon. There's a city down there, but it's not our city. I think I'm having a hard time making the turn or what? There, you see how there's an airport we're going to cross over. But what are we at for altitude? We're at 10.7. Good. So we want to be at 9,500 by VSIG in 3.5 minutes. We want to be at 9,500. So autopilot will hold us there if we get there too early. Let's start slowing down now. And because after VSIG we want to let's slow down like 180, 160. Alright, so there's airport in front of us. Again, that is not our airport. Autopilot will hold us at 9,500, and then at VSIG we'll take over manually. Then we have to get down to 8,700, And then we have to drop from 8,700 to 5,000 feet. That's 3,700 feet in a very, very, very short time. In 5 miles, 5.6 miles we get to drop. Almost 5,000 feet. What did I say it was? Over 5,000, almost 6,000 feet. Oofda. No, 5,000 feet. Math. So that's a steep drop. But again, it's all visual, so we'll be able to do it. So there we go. We're going to level off now at 9,500 because we arrived there a little early. And I'm not going to touch throttles because I want us to slow down. I just love these approaches when we're lower than the surrounding terrain. I just love it so much. It's like a satisfaction type feeling of knowing you're doing something right too, because if you weren't doing it right, you'd crash. So it's nice to know that everything is right. So technically also there is an arc between VASAG and ISTAX, but because we don't have that point Michael Delta 740, we just kind of have to wing it. But it's all visual anyway, so we are literally going to follow the terrain. Okay, we're at about 170 now. We're going to keep it there. So in a moment we will reach our waypoint and we will take over, and then we have to drop down to 8,700 feet. We're going to go through that valley there directly in front of us, and then we'll dip straight. There's a big drop off there, like thousands of feet, and then we'll see the city, which is in that valley, and we'll see the airport after that. The big thing will be curious how much our frame rates are going to drop or not drop. But just look at this. We are below the terrain on all sides. That is so cool how that works like that. I just love it. Look at that. So the airports are right on the other side of that valley. Alrighty, so let's see here. What do we need to do? Okay, we'll let it turn us, and then we'll take over manually because we got to get down now to 8,700. We're gonna keep our speed the way it is. In fact, let's speed up a little bit here. And there's our turn. Very nice. A little row of houses there. Not as much as I want to sightsee because we're going to hand fly now in a moment. We really need to stay in the cockpit because, as I say in every video, we all know what happens when I try to sightsee upon approach. It doesn't go for... Okay, so this isn't supposed to happen, right? Because there's supposed to be an arc here. So let's kill autopilot like that, and then we are going to come back and fly what should be an arc through this valley because there's a waypoint. I mean, that's how particular this approach is you have this narrow valley that you're supposed to fly through. That is so awesome. Okay, let's bring back throttles to start descending because by the next waypoint we have to be at 8,700. So we're going to come right over this, right over this ridge, and you'll see how it drops way down. And then to the left will be the city, and with my details cranked up all the way, it's just gonna look awesome. So I think we can do one more sightseeing thing as we come around this corner. Oh my, this tearing. Oh, this hurts my eyes without VSync. Again, you don't see the VSync issue, but for me it's this like, ugh, yuck. I don't even know how to describe it. So there we go, right over this valley. Look at that. Alright, I think we need a hand fly. Or we in the cockpit for this. Alright, A700, there we go. Let's level off here a little bit. Level off by increasing throttle, by the way, not pulling up. Pulling up will slow us down. So here we go. If you look out, there's the city. See all that detail? This is about where I dropped down to 9 frames per second when I was in 4K. You can see why that happened. But we're still in the 50s, so here we are, 53. Look at that city. So we are going to turn now towards that waypoint. See, because we're flying an arc more or less, and we're going to start coming down now. We need to come down to 4,900 feet. And we only have 5.6 miles to do it. So I'm bringing back throttles to descend. And then if I'm going too fast, I'll pull up a little bit to slow us down because I want to get into gear and flap range now. So throttles back more. Let's enjoy the sights that we can from the cockpit. And we're basically just going to fly. Okay, see that mountain right there in the middle of your screen? That is what we're going to aim for, and the runways to the left of that. But look at all this detail. Wow. Think we can come outside? I think we can a little bit. There we go. Let's take a screenshot of that and hope my game audio isn't too far off from the visual. And we're just going to fly this in. Visual approach using references and waypoints and landmarks. And I already know that that hill is what we're going to use to line up with the runway because, like I said, I accidentally practiced. You can't, well, if you know where to look, you can see the runway from here. But all right, we gotta get into flap and gear range. So let's slow down now. Yeah, 38 frames. Yeah, this is where I went down to 9 frames in 4K. All right, let's get gear down and first set of flaps down. Oh, did I hit my flap thing on accident? I actually didn't mean to put flaps down. I hit the wrong one. That's okay. Whoa, it's gonna float. Yeah, I know. Keep our speed up though. No need to slow down quite yet. There we go. Now you see the runway. See it? There we go. Yes, 1440 is the best of both worlds. It looks almost as good as 4K on this huge monitor, but the performance of 1080p. Oh my gosh, this is so wonderful. With the train blending cranked all the way. Oh my gosh, this is awesome. So now we are going to land like you are supposed to land this aircraft, where we are going to approach at 110, touchdown at 104, which is that first flag, and throttles at idle. And like I said, we will get sucked down a little bit, so we are going to touch down about 500 feet per minute, 400 feet per minute. But the point is that you can pretty much be realistic. Wow, look at this. Just enjoying the view. I can't imagine what this looks like in real life. Look at that. Wow, that's so cool. Oh, what's that big building? All right, here we go, slowing down a little bit more so we get into second flaps down in a moment. I'm going to pull up a little bit to slow down while bringing back throttles to maintain descent rate. So yeah, this is a steep descent. Right over that mountain. Second set of flaps, it'll cause us to float a lot. All right, so here we go. Let's do 110 for our approach speed, which is about that. Whoop, so point down to increase speed. Throttle so we don't descend too steeply. And we're just going to ride this in nice and slowly. More than enough runway. We have reversers, which I'm trying to remember what button that is on my yoke. I think it's my right trigger. I think is my reversers. Feel a little bit of wind. I don't know if wind is exactly calm, but I feel it. 35 frames per second in 1440, so you can see how this slaughtered me in 4K. All right, here we go. Descending now. Just a little steep descent at the end. Keep that speed at 110 so we can hit 104 at touchdown. We won't stall till 86 or something, 84, 86. Well, let's keep our speed up a little bit. Here we go, throttles back, pull up. It'll be kind of a suck down, just a little bit, not much. See, there we go, boom. Keep that nose wheel up, don't slam it down. On the rudder pedals, reversers, brakes because we can, but we don't need them. That made it pull to the right a lot. Flaps coming in, reverses let go of 40. Ooh, those brakes really screwed me up. I should have just stayed. Getting used to the rudder pedals. Small movements. Let's slow down a little bit here. And let's roll out. So like I said, whoop, I'm trying to turn my yoke like a steering wheel. We hit ground about 500 feet per minute just because we did get sucked down a little bit, but that's better than slamming into the ground from 50 feet up. So like I said, you're not going to grease it unless Carenado doesn't update or you goose the throttle at the last second. So it can be done, you just have to be unconventional. So there we go, I'll take it. All right, let's see, what do we need to do here? We need to stop the stopwatch, 31 minutes. Get our lighting, kind of do our lighting while we're going down the taxiway. Nope, see, because I'm going off to the right. I'm trying to use my feet at an angle while I'm doing my lights. Well, no. We're going to go off the runway because I can't, or the taxiway because I can't see. There we go, not too bad. There we go, bring props back to taxi, which I think is this preset here. Whoops, nope, conditioners are low idle. We should have done all that at the stop sign, but whatever. Good, we made it. Was that my first? This isn't my first time flying this plane with rudder pedals, is it? Maybe it is. Anyway, not sure why we got pulled to the right super hard when I introduced brakes, but I do not have differential braking set up or anything. I just hit the brakes and we yanked to the right. Oh well. Let's see here. Where do we want to go? I guess I didn't really look for our destination. We're going to go all the way to the end to that white hangar, and that's where we'll park this thing and call it a day. Looks like we got some people in our parking spot, though. Well, they're just going to have to move, aren't they? Let's see here. Let's turn. Come on. You can do it. Whoa. This rudder pedal thing is going to take a long time to get used to. Oh well. They'll just have to wait for us to be done. So let's stop right here. And set the parking brake. And shut down checklist. Taxi lights off. External lights out. I forgot those. Whoops. We'll keep tail flood on. And fuel. Let's see. Props to taxi. My favorite sound. Nice. Props or fuel back. Let's turn on external power. Here we go. And turn that on. People can start getting their stuff together and heading out. Otherwise, we are going to simply turn off the generators and the battery. Avionics, we can turn off whatever. You can play with all the buttons that you want to. I just stopped there. There we go. Open up a wing window. And if we spin around, we can open up our doors. Come out here and push to open there. And everybody, hopefully you enjoyed the flight. Come on out here. And let's get our baggage door open. If I can click in the right spot. There we go. And static elements. And there we go. So, flying in 1440, our frames never drop below 38, even in the worst of conditions. And, like I said, we're done talking about resolution. We're done talking about frame rates. I'm going to turn off that frame rate counter. I'm going to turn on VSync so I don't get nauseous when I do my pan shots. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed the flight. Welcome to Colombia. From Colombia into the mountains we are. Wow, I'm just really enjoying that detailed city. Look at those buildings. Good grief. Awesome. Anyway, if you're a regular subscriber, thank you for continuing support. If you found me by accident, please like, please subscribe. Please share with your friends. Hopefully you enjoyed the flight. I certainly did. Russia in the FlyJSim 727 is next, but first I have to see if there are any issues with the 727 and X-Plane 11.30, because I know the 732 had some issues and they issued a patch immediately. I have not seen a patch for the 727, so I think it's okay. But anyway, I'll see you in Russia, and in the meantime, enjoy flying, and I'll catch you on the next one.